Hey guys, welcome back to Parkitect University. Today's episode is going to be about rivers and lakes. I'm going to show you how I decorate some of those things and other... I need to push this on pause, there we go. And I'm just going to show you how I do what I do with rivers and lakes. And I'm going to show you some 2 themed rivers and 3 themed lakes. So here's some of the pieces that I would use from starting off to building a river or said lake. So we're going to first do terrain editor first, the terrain terraforming, and we have either a flatten tool or the lower and raise, and lower raise is on this mode. Actually, this mode, I don't know what this mode's called, actually it doesn't have a name, but regardless, we're just going to make a very simple river. So rivers are not straight, so we're just going to make it curvy as possible, especially how Parkitect kind of makes things, but I'm just going to make it very curvy. Like this. Oops. Oh, that works for me. I don't mind it. I sometimes don't like putting water all the way to the top, but if you want to, you can. It just makes more deeper waters. But sometimes I like making lower to add a little bit of a bank. And then when I do my coloring for the terrain, it depends on the environment that we're in. So let's say that we're in like a regular forest type of environment. So I want either soil or dirt kinda in here. Dirt's very bright, so if you want bright lakes, you do this. If you want really dark rivers, not lakes, you want to do soil. But let's just do the soil real quickly. I'm not gonna be like that. This takes a while. Doing this type of decorating for your, I don't know, your rivers take a while, but that's why you also do the regular grid placement and then kind of shape it with the grass later. So like I'm just gonna come in and do this later, basically like this. I just come in and kind of fix this up because it looks pretty bad, kind of misalignment, or not misalignment, more like just messy cubing of the terrain paint. You just kind of just do this. I'm just gonna fix it up a little bit. I'm not even onto the part of actually decorating the said river. So here's our river so far. It doesn't look that pretty because I'm not spending that good amount of time on them, because I spent about, for the examples that you will see, I think I spent about an hour or an hour and a half on just making them look nice, and they're all themed to different things. So depending on your park or your themed area that you're trying to work with, they will work for those things. So the first thing that I would do some rock placements. I'm going to size them up differently and just kind of stick them in the ground. I also wanted to mention this is normal vanilla Parkitect, so no construction anarchy. With construction anarchy I can be more precise with the rocks, but going around with regular Parkitect it kind of is harder to do it, but you can do it in vanilla, which is actually nice to know. So I'm just going to do some different rocks and stuff on the edges to kind of add interest and spot it around. Oh yeah, I forgot to add some other plants in here too of our selections. Where's the cattail? Oh yeah, it's called a bulrush, not a cattail. I've heard it being called cattail. I want to use that too. So these bushes will come in later. So let's just do a couple more areas of interest with the rocks. But also depends on the rocks you use. So like more rounded rocks suggest that the water level has changed. So that one in the bottom is, can't see it. So just have the idea of that. Rounded rocks are suggesting that it's a very high rushing river and does more, I don't know, it just calms down the rocks. I don't know how you want to say it, like just making interest. So here's some rocks. It looks okay. Actually I want to do some more rocks maybe right here. Let's do some pointy ones. So this is my favorite rock to do, like aggressive peaks and stuff, but I also like hiding half of it into the ground. And it does this. You can do that pretty well. So let's see, what plants do we want to use this time? We want to use this one maybe. Actually I want to change the color. I don't like the color it sits. It's too green, so I want to do like a little bit more darker green. And I'm going to stick these inside the rocks because that's where weeds would grow or something. You can even stick it in the water. It's wholly fine. So we'll do more. Also, I love that we can resize this now because before we couldn't. So this is nice that we can just sit there and just resize most of this stuff. So that's usually where like plants would go, or bushes would kind of go into these areas. I like using long grass to kind of dot the edges of the bank, even though they do, technically speaking, float right here, but with the game's perspective, it really doesn't matter. So dotting your, and also putting them in the water a little bit like they're weeds, adds some interest and more realism to said lake or river. Either or, this works both ways, so I'm just dotting a river. Trees also help too, so I don't know, maybe an oak tree here, maybe in the corner over here to add on the corners. Kind of suggest it kind of just weaves through, kind of goes with the land. Maybe doing some water lilies that adds some interest. It's all up to you, but it depends on the environment you're going for. So a lot of reference pictures and stuff would be very, very smart to do so. Let's see, what else would I have done to this river? I would probably put some bushes in the water. Let's see, it's not dark enough, or not deep enough, but a little bit. Not really. If I made them deeper, maybe. See, but they have this weird effect of touching the edge of the water. But I could put rocks in the middle, suggesting rapids or something, right? So let's say I put, and it's nice that we can make these rocks really small now, so we actually can just suggest that it's a rocky bottom a little bit by adding these things like this. Maybe that's a cool idea. I don't know. It's just kind of just a way to go with it. And then adding bushes and shrubbery near your trees also help too. And if you can see them, sometimes you can't. It's okay. So this is kind of just a very basic river. I just do some bulrushes right at the edges of the water right here. This is good. I don't use these much. I should be using these more often. Can we scale them? Oh, we can't. We can't even paint them either. So they're very one color. So, oh yeah, mushrooms would work too. All these stuff in the plants section really will help. So I'm going to show you some of the themed lakes and rivers. So first the rivers. So we're going to go over here to a Western themed one. So a Western themed river usually has not as much plants in it because it's supposed to be somewhat of a desert, but water also brings life into things. So I decided to add mesquite trees and a black pine. Added some boxes in the water because it's near a mine maybe, or it got washed up by a prospector, who knows. Got some cactus, kind of grass, dead grass almost. And then burial grounds, add some dirt up for us. I even put some dirt, burial mounds in the water, just to add some interest to just, I don't know, just give some interest in the bottom of the water. Even though you can change the color of the water to make it darker, but I like how Western's pretty straightforward. The next themed river is a spooky one. So this is just requires you to do more trees and bushes and more like grass in the water, suggesting it's a swamp. And then added fog effect to give that spooky feeling, and then spotting around the different mushrooms and stuff. And I think this works out really well. If I spent more time, this would be more forest and stuff like that. I could do that easily. But this is a good way to do some spooky theming stuff. So on to the first lake. This is a pirate lake or pirate river. Pirate lake, pirate river also work the same. So it's also going to be like the beginning of an ocean. So there's just lots of, these are king pines, some mangroves. I forgot what this piece was. This one. This is okay. I don't know how to pronounce it because I'm not going to. I'm going to butcher that name. Grass at the bottom, and then vines at the way bottom to suggest seaweed because we don't have a seaweed piece. So I used vines as seaweed, and that actually works really well. And then burial grounds to suggest that dirt has been pushed up through the sand or something. And then props of boxes and barrels and treasure chests and pirate skull heads. So it's pirate. And then the stone is a dark color because it's from the ocean. It's like volcanic rock. That works well for a pirate. The next one's kind of really fantasy. So this is like sci-fi. So this is stuff that I would do. I did this for my AstroTron. I did this for AstroTron. So this is like an acid lake. There's barely anything in it, but there's rocks in this like Martian landscape. I used the spooky trees as a weird tree to use, and I just changed it to a completely different color. And then actually these ones are the little bush plants from the adventure pack. These ones too, added in the water, and then crystals to kind of suggest it's very weird looking sci-fi planet. this works really well when you use different pieces from different sets to suggest an alien planet. And so this is one of them. And the last lake is going to be a winter one. So if you wanted to do winter stuff and do ice, like frozen lakes, I used in here roof quarter pieces and cubes at different angles. So 45 and normal cube in here. Stuck them into the water and suggested there's cracks and stuff. And then I also added cylinders to add some more roundness. Not cylinders, they're border discs. The border discs one. I made them kind of here, and then barrel mounds the colored white to add some more curving to the edges of things. And then just snow. So if you really wanted to do ice stuff, this is a way to go. Because I did this technique in Sub-Zero using those same techniques, and it actually works. It works well in vanilla and with Construction Anarchy, so it works both ways. So there are all the themed lakes and rivers that you can easily put in a theme park or a themed area. And yeah, that's basically the lesson for today, is decorating your lakes and rivers. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Parkitect U, and I will catch you guys in the next episode. Bye.